really.
Well, we might have to start using it now that they've given you a free shirt.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, usually when I go out, I mean, I'm a fan of links. I mean, I don't think you can beat a bit of links, Africa, all that sort of stuff, mate. But we'll go shopping and Rachel will buy some unbranded, just whatever. I don't like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You want to keep the same one, don't you?
Yeah.
You're going to have to start using
Exactly.
the Shore Sport now, mate. After your freebie, you're going to have to start doing it.
It's a nice shirt though. Shout out to Shaw as well. They got the shirt size right.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is.
That was good of him. Yeah.
I think I probably told him, to be fair. No Lewis.
Again.
Trust the protest. Yeah, I mean, listen, day after we beat Everton, 1-0 in the Premier League. And I think that we can all agree that it's a result we needed. Can we agree? Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, you're listening to yourself. This guy
I've been uploading the TikToks.
No, this guy outed himself. He watching himself. Yeah,
Fraudulent behaviour, though.
that is fraudulent. He's watching himself. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let's start off with you, Charlie. What did you think of yesterday?
It was better than what we've seen in previous weeks. It was definitely an improvement on the low bar that we've set ourselves with our recent performances. But the game went exactly as I expected. As I said to you after the game yesterday, mate, like at this point, with the run-in for the Champions League, final few games of the season, just get the points any way possible. And that's what we did. The game went as I expected. I thought it would be a tight game, thought it would be difficult. Everton have definitely improved under Moyes. They're resolute, they're hard to break down. And they had one or two opportunities themselves. Sanchez made a couple of really good saves and put in a very good performance. That doesn't change anything regarding his situation about him being here next season, but you have to give credit where it's due. And he had a very good game and arguably kept us in it and maybe got us the 3 points at the end of the day. But yeah, look, I'd say a positive performance based on what we've seen in previous weeks. And to get 6 points from Fulham away and Everton at home, that's probably 2 points ahead of where I had us from those games. I thought we'd get a draw against Fulham at best and beat Everton anyway.
What about you, Father?
Yeah, that was a better performance than the last two against Brentford and Ipswich. And arguably for me is that I'm looking at those two fixtures, that's about 6 points, and roughly we lost about 4 points this month alone. And we should have been at least like 15 points this month. We should have won against Brentford. We should have won against Ipswich. But at the end of the day, it's a crucial time that we picked up some of these points because of the run of games coming up in the next month. So, yeah, it's just that one of those performances that I feel that, okay, we can nick a win, 1-0 win, but I just want to see some goals, just because of the confidence that some of these attackers are currently having at the moment. It's just that not in a good state, but picking up results is probably the most important thing as of now.
I mean, we saw a goal. Jackson got a goal. I think it was a really good goal as well, to be fair. Goal that he deserved. I think it was really similar to the Fulham game as well with Tyreek George. Like, it was a striker's finish.
Yeah.
And I think, was it you, Charlie? He said it was the first goal Jackson has scored outside the box in his whole career.
Yeah.
Finally.
That is mad. It's also a little bit weird, though, that we have a striker who can't really score goals from outside the box, like, especially when you're looking to break down low blocks. I think that you want players that can score from any position. So that, if anything is an indication that we need a striker more than anything, it is that stat in itself. I'm glad the curse is broken now, but I didn't even know that was the case in the first place.
Did you know that was the first time since 2019 that we have a striker that has scored from outside the box? The last time was Higuain.
Against Huddersfield?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Ball knowledge, though. Good memory. No, I didn't know that. I had no idea.
But it was a decent strike. People say, we do say that Jackson needs to get better in the box. Of course he does. But it's funny how basically all his goals before yesterday have actually all been in the box. But yeah, no, that was really big for him. It's been difficult. His performances have been criticised. He hasn't been great since he's come back from injury. And you can see with the celebration kind of what it meant to him, and hopefully that can give him a bit of a confidence boost as well for the remaining games, because we are gonna we're going to need him to get a few more goals if we are going to beat these teams and if we are going to get ourselves into that top 5. So it was important for him. I felt his game yesterday was decent. The goal was great. I think some of his hold-up play wasn't the best. I thought
he had a pretty poor game.
I thought Branthwaite, I wouldn't say poor, but I think some of his hold-up play wasn't the best. Branthwaite got the better of him on quite a number of occasions, and so that hold-up, that link-up play wasn't what we usually expect from Jackson, but ultimately he did the most important thing in the game for us.
Yeah, another thing as well, I wasn't actually watching at this point, but I saw, was it Pies? Or someone tweeted that when Jackson was warming up his shots as well, like he'd get every single shot, and I think he had 10 shots and he scored 10 shots. So like he was on form in training going into the game. Obviously he got the goal as well. Like, you know what's, I don't want to compare Jackson to Nkunku, but that game was almost like an Nkunku game where didn't really offer much, got the goal. That's the most important thing.
I don't want to.
But do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm
saying?
like?
I get it. But at the end of the day, I just think that at the moment, it's Jackson should be our main striker than Nkunku.
I'm not saying that Nkunku needs to start ahead. I'm just comparing the performance. Like, Jackson offered virtually nothing in that game apart from the goal. His hold-up play was poor. He gave the ball away a number of times. Didn't really link up as well as I would have wanted to. He dropped deep a number of points. I remember in the first half, I think it was Palmer had a go at him because he's like, "Why do you keep dropping deep? Like, get up there." And I was quite lucky because I had a decent seat in the West View. Never sit in the West View, but I thought, do you know what? Let's give it a go, mate. Let's give it a go.
Did you get a chance going in the West View? Yeah.
Do you know what? When you sit in the West View, it's like you're watching tennis, mate.
Exactly.
You just hear a few little...
Yeah. You rested your legs for 90 minutes. You sat down the old game. Nice padded seat.
Yeah, nice padded seat. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, as much as the atmosphere in the West View is horrendous...
There is no atmosphere. No.
It is a nice experience. It is nice.
The view's great. The view is great. Yeah.
But... if you speak to some of the fans that paid for tickets in those seats, like I saw some guys at half time were just sat there. You know, they've got those tables inside the concourse. You have to race to them, but like usually end up sitting with someone random because there's 4 seats. And I was like, how much did you guys pay for these seats? And they were like, 240 quid each. And I was like, God.
240 quid to watch Everton at home.
yeah. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was mad.
It's mental. But the thing is, though, like, because people want to go to Chelsea games and just Premier League games in general so much, like, they will pay that. Or, generally speaking, fans that probably sit there are either fans that can't get a ticket anywhere else and really want to go, or they've just got loads of cash, basically. That's the two sort of clientele that sit in Westview. Loads of cash or desperate to go to a game and those are the only tickets available.
I interviewed a guy as well who come over from Australia, a guy called Sal.
Yeah.
What, just for this game?
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, just came over from Australia, wanted to watch Chelsea. Presumably this is just a game you can get a ticket for. Like, I don't really know the logistics of why he did it. There's a lot of very committed Chelsea fans out there. 100%. There really is. But when you sit in those... I wasn't directly on the halfway line. I was sort of closer to the shed than MHL, but... gives you a real perspective of the atmosphere as a whole in the stadium. Because obviously, if you're in MHL, like, you can hear that they're trying to get chants going a lot of the time. Doesn't necessarily go that way. There's a bit of crack. People are standing up. It's good fun, isn't it? Like, you're in and amongst it. And in the West View, you wouldn't know that any of that's going on. Like, even if they're trying to get a chant going, it sounds silent when I'm sitting there. And it's just another indication that, you know, you've got to make prices affordable for fans going to these matches. You've got to... I know they're going to continue to put prices up, but you have to be careful with the way you do it. I think if you're going to do it, maybe this is the wrong approach for some people, but I think that you freeze the prices of MHL and the shed, and you just push up corporate even more, because those are the people who are already willing to spend the money.
Yeah.
There's no atmosphere coming from those seats. They're not helping the team.
We basically like...
And that's all they have to offer in that respect. I'm not saying you're not a fan if you sit there.
No, of course you're not.
But
of course you are, yeah.
Logically speaking, I mean, it makes sense if you want to keep your atmosphere.
But ultimately, like, you talk about atmosphere, you've got 2 stands that make noise. MHL and the shed.
Yeah.
East and West, virtually nothing.
Nothing.
So you're like, so that in itself is a major contributing factor as well to the atmosphere issues. So, yeah, I don't know what the solution is. There's going to be more and more hospitality, more and more corporate stuff. We know that. And it will be, if you go to a bigger stadium, it will be the same. There'll be more corporate seats available. Obviously, there'll be more general admission seats available, but there will also be more corporate, more hospitality stuff. So I don't know how you fully address that issue other than what they're trying at the moment, getting some singing sections going. I don't know how successful it's been in the shed. I think it's been reasonable. Needs to try and get something like that maybe.
But that's not attainable for league games, is it? That's not attainable because you've got season ticket holders that obviously won't move.
No, of course.
So you can do it in the cup competitions, but I don't really see how.
Yeah, it's difficult. So you either get something like that in Matthew Harding end, or the easiest. Well, I say the easiest way. If the team's successful, it's just the atmosphere is just better in general because people are going to the games in a better mood anyway. So I suppose one way to improve the atmosphere is by the team becoming more successful,
performing on the pitch is much more.
Make the beers affordable, and people will drink more and sing more.
Do you know what?
That is true. Mm-hmm. Come on.
I would say this.
Half time, get a little pint down you. Your voice, you feel like a different man the next time.
I would say this from the experience that I feel like with some of these fans that comes overseas, it's just that, especially it used to be the 120 quid by the Westview, and the problem is that nowadays people have kind of given up in terms of the they don't want to come anymore because of even the Westview seats, in my opinion, like, but that's about the season about 3,900 apparently. If I think,
it's about $3,000 in some of those seats, probably more.
Not easy.
By the way, if I wasn't doing the vlogs and things like that, I would actually consider going in the Westview. If I wasn't drinking or anything like that, and I just wanted to watch the game, you have a cracking view.
If you've got the cash to do it, it's great.
You have a great view, but then it's like, does the view? Like, is that more important than your experience, everything else?
I was going to say, it's a bit of a watered down experience. If I said to someone said to me, like, oh, where should I sit if I want to get, like, the proper Chelsea experience? The last place I'd tell them to sit is the Westview. You know, because that, if you're only going to come, like, a handful of times a year, and you want to experience Chelsea and you want to experience it properly, I wouldn't tell anyone to sit Westview.
At least in the East Stand, it's like a family section. You sit with your kid. Like, you've got a lot of the families there.
Yeah.
And you're right next to the away fans as well, so you can give it if you really want to. Westview, they will put the prices up. Like, I know they will, because they're putting prices up for some of the suites by 30%. That's what I've been told by some of my mates who sit there. Also, guys, that kind of goes on to another big announcement.
How do we go from Nicholas Jackson to Westview seats?
I think it's just that one of those kind of like experience that people really kind of relieved that to see Jackson scores. I think if you can hear from the yesterday's celebration to it, I think it's just like, finally this guy scored that. We've been criticizing this guy for months for not scoring the goals. Hell, how
many is he on?
10 now. 10 league goals.
Is that it?
Well, he had 9. He had 9 in the first half of the season.
Is that it?
Yeah.
But he was then injured for 2 months, and then this is his 10th goal. Yeah.
Do you know what?
I know it was me a couple of months ago saying he could get to 20.
Well, he did miss 2 months. Yeah.
So the last time he scored, that was against Tottenham.
That was against Brentford in December, just after Christmas.
Was it December?
Yeah, against Brentford at home, 2-1.
Do you know what? I can look back at one player that has a long scoring drought. That was Fernando Torres when he 2011-12.
It took him ages to score his first goal, didn't it? Yeah.
He scored. I think
West Ham.
No, not that one. No, against Chelsea. No. It was Swansea. Sorry, it was Swansea. The first goal of the season, and then
I ain't got a clue.
And then after that, I think he scored against Leicester in the FA Cup, and then Villa in the league. In the month of March, from September to month of March.
We need our fact checkers in the chat, please.
Yeah.
Let us know if Father is.
But it was important for him for sure. But yeah, look, he done well. That's good for his confidence. But I think the biggest plus was the return of Lavia, because we speak.
Well, I had one other thing.
Yeah,
sorry, mate. Just while we're on the topic of seats and everything else.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Ticketmaster?
Oh.
And the new deal. We're going to have online tickets from next season. By the way,
I can't wait.
I don't know if this is true, so I need to double check it. But I have someone who messaged me saying that
You're going to keep them anonymous, or you're going to out them?
Well, no, I won't say who it is. But someone messaged me and they said, I've done some research and discovered that Clearlake owns the ticketing software for Ticketmaster. They will earn fees on ticket sales through the back door. So I don't know the details of it, but according to someone I know who's pretty well informed, that is one of the reasons behind Ticketmaster is that the club will you're all right, fella, is that the club will be able to generate more revenue, basically.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but I think City has signed a similar deal with Viagogo, who's another ticket.
A lot of
selling site.
fans are unhappy.
Yeah, a lot of fans are unhappy about it. For me, like in general, I don't think Ticketmaster is that bad. Like I'm sure we've all used Ticketmaster in the past, like for concerts and like events and stuff like that, and it.
I mean, it's pretty solid.
It seems pretty straightforward. I don't think the ticket buying process is going to be drastically different. You're just going to be doing it for a different software. Digital tickets is the way that the game's going. Yeah, okay, you wouldn't mind having a digital ticket. For away games, it's quite nice to have a paper ticket if you're sort of into that collecting stuff. But in terms of, oh shit, I've dropped my ticket, or I've forgotten my ticket, like you can't forget your ticket with a digital one. Unless you delete the email or whatever. So, it's a good thing, and it's definitely the right way to go. Whether they're making money off it or not, I've got no idea. But if it makes a ticket buying experience easier or better, then
why not do it like a separately? Like, because I just think that because we've got about 4,000 roughly season ticket holders at the bridge, and then lots of membership.
More than 4,000.
More than 4,000 then. About 8,000 roughly.
It must be like 18,000.
18,000.
Oh, 100%. At least.
Oh yeah, it's a 40,000 capacity, isn't it?
Yeah.
The thing is, why can't do it like separately?
Maybe more than that. I'd say close to 30.
So
majority of the stadium would be season ticket holders.
The thing is like my idea is like, why not make it like the separate sales? Let's say Chelsea and the season ticket first comes at the priority, and then the members, and then the ticket masters right after the members. Why not do that separately? Like I just think that.
Oh, so you don't think that season ticket holders should have to go through Ticketmaster? Just people that like people that want to buy one-off tickets.
Just a normal traditional way, like this season, you know.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, I don't know.
But I presume it's just going to be the same buying process. It's still going to be like the VWI. You're just going to be redirected to Ticketmaster when you get through instead of whatever it is now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I guess it all depends as well how much you're being charged.
I wouldn't have thought there'd be additional charges. I would have thought you'd just be paying the same amount of money.
I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I don't use Ticketmaster that much. Do they charge you service fees or anything like that?
Normally they do.
Oh, they do?
They do.
I mean, I've used it occasionally. I can't.
I've used it for boxing fights as well.
I can't.
Did you see the tweet from Simon Jordan today? Oh, it's brilliant, mate.
Or about boxing?
About the boxing. But don't worry, it's to do with football as well.
Was he shitting on the Spurs stadium?
It's fucking brilliant. Yeah. You've seen it then, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I just presumed that's probably what it's
about. He
said,
Conor Benn has just stated, I'm devastated about losing this fight. I need to go to an empty room to gather my thoughts for a while.
No, he sent it to the Spurs trophy cabinet.
Daniel Levy has just given him the keys to the Spurs trophy room and said, crack on.
I bet it's supposed to be an empty room at the stadium, isn't it? So, yeah.
Oh,
well, you can just knock that Audi Cup to the side and then he's set to go.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's great.
Hold on a second. Does people forget about Live Nation UK? What about that one? That's not a ticket site.
Live Nation?
Yeah.
Isn't Ticketmaster and Wait, don't Chelsea have Live Nation on their sleeve?
Yeah, on the sleeve.
I swear they had Live Nation on the sleeve. Aren't
training sleeve? Yeah.
Aren't Ticketmaster and Live Nation kind of linked anyway?
There you go.
I haven't got a clue.
They might be.
They might be.
I don't know that for certain. But yeah, look, we knew this was going to happen. We knew digital tickets were going to be rolled out. They've already sampled it this season with a handful of away games. Mm-hmm. Home tickets are kind of digital anyway because you just get it on the email. Some people like to print it out on a bit of paper. I don't know why, but yeah, home tickets are generally digital anyway. Well,
I think that you should have an option to at least have a card for your season tickets.
Oh, you get a card for the season ticket. Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, if you pay a little bit extra, then that will be included.
You could have digital if you wanted to.
Because I think a lot of clubs have already moved away from that, and we're one of the few that have still got it.
Yeah, because a lot of teams, I've seen some people, they
can't even get them
digital. Yeah, like literally, you've got your season ticket like in your like wallet on your phone or whatever, and you just scan.
I don't like it though. The thing is, I'm like, all right, cool, but let's just imagine your phone runs out. Like,
you should.
What are you going to do then?
You should have the. I think probably what's right is you should have the choice if you want.
Yeah.
If you want to. Yeah.
This is why I keep it like that though. Like for example,
Come on, show the camera, Father. Show.
yeah, just keep it like one card and then have the option to like.
Would you be happy if it was like no all season tickets were digital, but you had to pay like say £10 if you wanted a card?
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
You'd be alright with that.
I'd pay £10.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it just makes life easier for everyone. But yeah, who knows? We'll see what happens. Sorry, mate. You were talking about Lavia.
We're talking about positives. Yeah,
go for it.
I think the return of Lavia was a big boost for us yesterday. Kind of surprised he started because that was his first minute since he come on as a late sub against Arsenal before the international break. He was on the bench against Fulham, but didn't come on. Mate, this guy is so good. It's actually a joke. Like he plays like once every couple of months, and he just comes in and drops worldy performances. But he's the glue to this team. We play so much better when he plays. We're so much more fluid. The way that he receives the ball in the half turn, beats the press. Everything he was doing yesterday was coming off. And you notice, right, as soon as we subbed him off, the game becomes so much more open, and that coincided with Everton having their best opportunities of the game when obviously Sanchez made those two decent saves. So for me, Lavia, he's so important. I think Maresca described him as one of the best midfielders around when he's fit, and it's hard to disagree. But it just leaves that massive sense of what if. I know loads of clubs can have a what if so-and-so didn't get injured or whatever didn't happen. But if Lavia had just been fit for half of this season or 3/4, I think it's safe to say we'd be comfortably in the top 5. We are so much better when he plays.
I guess this goes back down to this whole dilemma and squad planning that we have, which I think is wrong, and that is leaning on injury-prone players to produce the goods.
Yeah.
And how are you supposed to rely on any player if they're not even available? Reece James is a great example. Fofana is another one. Then you've got Lavia. These are 3 of our best players when they're fit. Fofana is undoubtedly the best centre-back in this squad when he's fit.
Yeah.
Lavia is arguably the best midfielder in this squad when he's fit. Reece James is the best right-back in world football when he's fit.
Yeah, exactly.
And these are the players that we've lent on so many times, and I don't think we've really learnt from that side of things. I fully appreciate that you want to get something out of your investment, especially Lavia and Fofana, because we paid a lot of money. James is a homegrown player. But for me, you need to look at this, and this is where the signing of Asugu from Sporting, I think, is a smart signing. He will provide that cover for Caicedo and Lavia as well. You've got Andre Santos giving you a little bit of cover with...
for Lavia or Enzo. He can do both roles,
yeah. Actually, to be fair, when you look at it from the midfield perspective, we're okay. On the right, I think we need more cover. I think, honestly, you just can't rely on Reece James. You can't.
But you've got Reece James and Gusto, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think you need a little bit more.
And there's Action Pong as well.
Well, that's providing they don't sell him. I don't think they'll sell him next season, but I think there's a good chance that he gets sold within the next 2 years.
I think he could go on loan next year.
Yeah, probably loan and then sell. That's what I think they'll try and do. I'd like to keep him, though. With Fofana, though, and our centre-backs, I think that needs to be just as much of a priority as a striker.
Mate, absolutely. That's number 1.
People are sort of talking about one centre-back. I think we need bare minimum 2 good quality centre-backs.
Arguably 3 centre-backs that you need at the back line, especially.
I want Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth. I have absolutely no problem with that signing. And I want Mark Gurhey from Crystal Palace.
Question, why do we have to go to the Bournemouth for a stopgap signing? Like, that's not disrespectful for Dean Huijsen.
Why is it people... It's like Delap. He's a good player.
No, I don't want to hear any of these potential players. I want because
Dean Huijsen's already been good.
One season.
One season wonder.
And that's fair enough, and that's why I don't just want him.
That
is depth. That's what I'm asking for. Depth.
Yeah, sure. I'm if Dean Huijsen's the only centre back signing this summer, I'm not on board with it
I agree.
because it does not address what we need. What we need in the back line, right, is a leadership and experience. Okay, signing a 20-year-old with 1 season of Premier League experience does not solve any of those issues. Okay, it's nothing to do with the player quality issue of Huijsen, because he's obviously a good player and there's lots of potential. But if we're only signing 1 centre back this summer, it shouldn't be Dean Huijsen. It should be a Mark Gurhey or someone else who brings you that leadership and brings you that experience. If you're going to sign 2, I've got no problem with Huijsen being one of them, as long as the other one brings leadership and experience like a Gurhey or maybe someone else.
Another one, if you want to make it 3, which could potentially be good business, is you sell Tosin 15 to 20 million. I think that's a reasonable price.
That's your
rate.
guy.
I love Tosin, but
No,
if that means that you get Jonathan Tah in on a free, and then you flip Tosin for a good profit, I think that's smart business. And you've got an upgrade, because Jonathan Tah's a better player.
He's better than Tosin,
isn't he? And he's a proven winner on the Bundesliga.
Yeah, he's a good.
So
how old is he? Like 20?
He's 29.
29.
Oh yeah, take him.
So and you get the height that you had with Tosin.
Yeah.
Like, you've basically got everything and a little bit more there, and a little bit of money.
Absolutely.
You know we like the money at Chelsea. So those are 3 centre backs that are realistic as well, and that means Disasi's off. Colwell will probably stay. Badia Shield won't get a sniff in the team, but that's the way
Badia
it
Shield.
should be.
The Athletic said that Badia Shield at the moment has been like categorized in like they put him into in the stay category right now at Chelsea.
Isn't it? Very strange.
I mean, there's going to be so much change at centre back, because right now we've got 10 centre backs on our books, and
Anselmino will be going out on loan.
Anselmino will go on loan. Achimpong, they counted Achimpong in there, but Achimpong probably loan as well.
We'll have a domestic loan.
I'd imagine a loan somewhere. Then you've got Colwell will stay, Fofana will stay, and then you've got Disasi who will go.
He'll go. That's 2 that are
You've got
so
Badia
far.
Shield potential stay, and then you've got Chalobah as well.
He'll get sold.
I don't think Chalobah should be sold. Chalobah has proven time and time again he's more than good enough to be part of the squad. I'm not saying that he should be starting for Chelsea week in, week out as part of the first choice partnership, but he's proven previously at Chelsea and over the second half of the season that he's good enough to be in the Chelsea squad and contribute. You know, he's already made the club look stupid for getting rid of him in the summer when he's come back. I thought he was brilliant yesterday against Everton. This guy should be in the squad next season. He should be, but I don't know if he will be, because I think they're probably looking at it rather than thinking, oh, Chalobah's done well, let's keep him. They're thinking, oh, his value might have gone up. There's a chance to get even more money for him. That's probably the way that they're looking at it. And for me, he should 100% be in the squad next season.
Absolutely, and the fact that we've still got Badiashile, by the way. But by the way, I think that Badiashile categorized to be staying. I think that was a decision made by Lawrence Stewart because they both got monocle links altogether. That's why I feel like there's a bit of kind of like similarities in their connection about that. Yeah, I think Badiashile will be staying. Disasi will get sold eventually for Champions League because I think he wants to play in a Champions League football. I can't even blame him for that. I think there's going to be a lot of outgoings this summer, especially from the back line. And not forget that we have to get rid of Ben Chilwell as well off the books, so it's not going to be that easy as well.
I think they would if an offer coming, because there was, I think it was either this January, like Brighton were potentially sniffing around Tosin. I think if someone offered, say, 15 to 20 million pounds for Tosin, I think the club would take it.
100%. But you replace him with Jonathan Tah. Is that not exceptional business?
Well,
by the way, another player we haven't spoken about, Vega. He'll probably get sold.
Yeah, he's likely to be sold.
Yeah,
he's likely to be sold as well. He won't get the minutes if he wants to play at centre back because at Portugal that's where he's playing for the national team. He needs to be playing regular minutes at centre back to get in the World Cup squad. He's just not going to get those minutes at Chelsea, and we probably will double our money on him.
Mm-hmm. That Ben Chilwell. Because he just made it to the FA Cup final last night.
Yeah, with Palace.
Yeah, with Palace.
Did he play?
He came off.
He came
right
on.
at the end.
He came on.
He came on. Sorry.
Yeah, he came on right at the end. Like if Palace did win the FA Cup, and then we sell Ben Chilwell to Palace, like we could get about 35 million.
We're not going to sell him for 30 million. No
I
chance.
think you get. I reckon you get 20 million for Chilwell. I think you get
plus
20.
bonus, like because the way that I say it's 30 is because the bonus if we win the FA
I'd
Cup.
take 10 million because you remember the wage is a huge
I
problem.
think that's the thing with your Sterlings and your Chilwells. I think more.
And Leeds United.
I think more.
With Sterling.
I think more important than the. I think with the fees for those guys, you just take what you can get. The biggest thing is getting the wages off the books because when both of those guys go, that's over 500 grand a week off the wage bill.
Beautiful.
Sterling will be probably the hardest one to get rid of.
He's done crap at Arsenal. At least Chilwell's actually done okay at Palace.
Yeah.
Like Sterling's been awful at Arsenal.
He's just washed. That player's career was done as soon as Tuchel got sacked. Because actually, when Tuchel came in to Chelsea, like he
started
he
reasonably
built
well,
the
didn't
team
he?
around Sterling, and Sterling performed. And then as soon as Tuchel left, it was over.
But
Nobody knew how to
Sterling's
utilise him.
downfall from what he was doing at Man City has been like that's a serious downfall he's had since he left City. He's literally left City. He was one of City's best players in the time that he was there, scoring a lot of goals important to a number of trophies they won. He's fallen off a cliff. His career is just taken a nosedive, and I don't see him getting back to anywhere near what he was at Man City.
Do you think he's the biggest flop that Clearlake have ever signed? No. If you look at it from a transfer, wages, like what he was as a player when we signed him compared to where he is now.
It's definitely up there. I mean, the transfer fee wasn't huge. I mean, it's 50 million, which in this market is not a huge fee, really.
325 grand a week, though.
The weekly wage. I mean, Sterling was probably good for what, one season, maybe?
What, with us?
What, half a season?
If that. He was crap.
I was saying Nkunku is the biggest flop.
Nah.
Nkunku and Sterling are probably up there as two of the most disappointing signings from expectation to reality.
I mean, I will always give Nkunku the benefit of the doubt in terms of the fact that he got injured in his first season. I guess you could class that as a flop in a way. But he would have definitely featured regularly under Poch. And then I think he was totally mismanaged this season. Totally mismanaged. And even with that lack of minutes, he managed to get a number of goals in cup competitions, which I don't even think Sterling would have been able to get 50% of that.
But Nkunku, we can say that the system don't really suit him and he's not been played in his best position. Both those are kind of...
I think Sterling is in a league of his own.
Both those are valid points, but also, when Nkunku's played, he's been nothing short of awful. In terms of his application and his effort on the pitch. I don't care if you're being played out.
I'm not defending him.
No,
but if we're having this conversation pre-January, the blame is solely on the management. But from January onwards, then it's the club actually. I blame after that because they publicly come out and offered him to every club that would take him and wanted a ridiculous fee, and that's when you saw him stop trying. So yes, he needs to do a lot better, and he hasn't applied himself.
He's checked
but
out.
Who would want to play for a club that doesn't want them? And on top of that, a manager who doesn't know how to play, who never plays you in your best position, and quite frankly, just bullshits the media into saying that you're a key part of the project.
Do you think that he's been put out of position since Poch was there, or was it?
I mean, the thing is, it all comes down to Palmer. If you played Palmer on the right, you wouldn't have this problem. But because we play him down the middle, and I think Palmer's probably the next player we need to talk about, he's been underutilised, Palmer. And on top of that, you are freezing other players who could be a key part of this team out of this team. João Felix is one from a rotation perspective. Chukwuemeka, I believe, could be a consistent starter for Chelsea. I think he's that good. Nkunku, that conversation's been and gone, but that could have been a real option for us. So there's plenty of options that we could have played there if we'd have had Palm on the right. And let's not sit here and act like we're going to miss Madueke or we're going to miss Pedro Neto. Fair enough. I like Neto. I think that Madueke as well, he has good moments.
He had a good game
He was really good on the left.
He was very good yesterday, yeah.
But they will not offer more than Palmer. They won't offer 50% of what Palmer can do.
But Palmer's not a touchline winger, though. We know that Maresca likes to have those touchline wingers that stick stick really wide, direct, take their man on. Palmer's not going to do that defensive tracking back.
He will.
Not
he absolutely will.
no,
No, he will.
no,
He absolutely
not to the same level. Not to the same. Not to the
Are you
same
telling me
level.
that Jadon Sancho and Madueke work harder than Cole Palmer?
Madueke work. If you're playing,
Neto is the only winger that works harder.
Madueke actually defensively has improved massively in terms of his tracking back
because it was poor.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is that
so he's gone from poor to average.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't put Palmer down as someone that if he's playing. He's
the fittest player in this squad by definition. He wins the bleep test in training.
Why
John
are we talking
Terry
about
come
this?
out and said that publicly.
No.
How are you telling me that he can't track back?
No one said he can't.
He can't. He's not that type. He's not.
His mentality.
He's not that type.
It's fantastic.
He's not that. He's not that type of player. Palmer likes to be on the right.
You think he's a deep lying midfielder?
No,
like
he's
he was
not.
Yesterday?
No, he's not.
Is that the way you utilise Cole Palmer?
I prefer Cole Palmer when he was on the right. When Poch put him in the right position. What happened last year? 46 GA last season.
Pretty fucking good, isn't it?
That's the thing. That's why I feel like I can give credit to the Poch where.
And now people say, "Oh, you know what? Palmer's been great. It's not Maresca's fault. He creates all these chances. Just like we have all this possession, but we don't always score."
Two things can be true.
Hello, sorry. Last time I checked, if you have 46 GA in a season, it's because you are comfortable in that position and you thrive in that position. Now, absolutely, probably right in the sense he's not a touchline winger. Give the man some freedom. Give him some freedom. The nice thing about being out wide as well, you can't get marked by 2-3 players at once because otherwise everyone's dragged out of position.
But he always drifts. Even when he plays right under Poch, he still drifted in centrally.
Yeah, but that's not a problem. Give him the freedom. Give him the option. And now we've got a player who feels like now, either it's Maresca being an idiot, saying drop deep Cole because that's the best thing for this team. And by the way, Maresca was right. Palmer actually did play well yesterday, but that makes it even worse because he. Oh my God, Father, are you kidding me? He played well. His passing, like he's trying to spread the ball around, but it's like putting Messi in midfield for us. You've got a guy capable of scoring the goals, winning games on his own, and you're playing him next to Lavia and Caicedo. It makes no sense to me.
No,
so
he actually said that. He actually said
Maresca
that.
said he played well.
Yeah, he did say he played.
I think that Palmer did play well.
I don't think it wasn't awful.
Yeah, but he played well because of the position he was in. Like he did what you would expect from a player in that position. The problem is he shouldn't be in that position to start off, and that is why he's being underutilized. So yes, you get a 7 out of 10. I think you get a 9 out of 10 if you play him further up the pitch. Consistently.
This is why I said two things can be right. Either of the mismanagement by Maresca, or as a young player, you gone to these rough patches in the 21 years old. Like, it happens to most of the players. If you look at the careers of other star boys out there like Saka, Yamal, even Vinicius Junior, like you got lots of other players out there that's got that potential to be a world class player. They're gone to these rough patches a lot. Yeah. And this is why I feel like Cole Palmer has gone through it right now. Like you can talk about the system, like two things can be right, but for him it's like, okay, you had one of those moments last season, like 46 GA. It happens a lot, and I just firmly believe that he'll come back soon next season.
I don't doubt that Palmer will pick up his form. I'm just saying that. If you're telling me this season he's been utilised to his full potential, I don't agree.
But no one was saying that in the first half of the season.
There you go.
No, absolutely. No, you're not wrong there. And then people.
And he was playing the exact same position.
That's like saying Chelsea played well for 45 minutes, then the team changed their tactics. We couldn't deal with it.
But I think.
That's basically what we're saying about
Palmer's numbers aren't that bad this season.
His numbers are good,
but the only
he is better than good.
But the problem is that because pretty much all of that GNA that he's got, I think he's got 21 GNA this season, which is, I think last season in the Premier League last season he got 33 GNA. So right now, no, that's just
you're talking all competitions.
Yeah. Last season Premier League he got 33 GNA.
Okay.
So I think he got 22 goals, 11 assists.
Okay.
This season he's on 21 GNA right now. He's got 14 goals, 7 assists. So he's 12 GNA less than what he got last season, right? If you said to me that Palmer would get over 20 GNA following on from last season, I would say that's a good season to back up that remarkable campaign that he had last season. That would be a good season, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why it's being highlighted as a conversation is because all of that, bar 1 goal and 1 assist, came before Christmas. So because if it had been more spread out, then you're having a different conversation about it. You know, Palmer. Let's say he gets a couple of goals in the last 4 games, right? Let's say he scores twice in the last 4. He's on 16 Premier League goals. If you said to me Palmer's going to score 6 less Premier League goals this season than last season, I would say, yeah, he's had a very good season, and that's an impressive campaign to back up what he did the season before. Yeah. I just think because he's set his own standards so high, if you don't really get near that, then people are going to be looking at him, and also the fact that all of it really come before Christmas, and he's now not scored for 17 games. If it had been a bit more spread out, I think the conversation surrounding Palmer is very different.
He's missed some good chances.
He has missed some big opportunities.
Doubt about that. Like I'm not. It's not. Of course, the player needs to take some blame in this scenario. But again, when you say that, you know, we look at this season, we say, you know, it's still a pretty decent season. I don't dispute that. Just like I don't dispute actually what Maresca said about Palmer playing well against Everton. I agree. But I think that the standard is being lowered in that case because he is not good. He is great. And that's why you should expect great things. And if a manager is not able to propel our best player over the past sort of 2 years, consistently winning us games, creating chances, getting this team ticking at times as well, then, you know, I don't think that's a huge red flag. It's a huge red flag. Just like if any manager, like let's just say a new manager takes over at Madrid, can't get the best out of maybe Madrid's not the best.
Mbappe?
Nah, because they got so many good players. Yeah. Let's just say someone goes to Barcelona and they can't get the best out of Yamal, for example. Like that's a red flag. Just like if you went to Barcelona years gone by and Messi wouldn't perform under you. These are top players. I'm not comparing Palmer to Messi, but what I'm saying is this is a guy last season, at the end of the season, beginning of this season, we were having genuine conversations. I'm not saying us, but the football space, about this guy being in the Ballon d'Or conversation, at least like top 10. Absolutely a conversation for that, based on what we've seen. And now we're sitting here saying, well, you know, he's been all right, but that is a significant downgrade, a huge downgrade. And one thing that Palmer has benefiting this season that he didn't have last season, we have more stability as a team. We have a team that have been together. And we just have a manager now who's not giving him the freedom to express himself. Because even as a 10, like, I don't have a problem with it if you're allowed to drift over and you're allowed to move. But it seems like he's stuck in that central position all the time. And the only solution he has is to drop deep, which is what we saw. Now, that's either the player's preference to try and get involved in the game or the manager's instructions. If that's the manager's instructions, can I just say, what an idiot. But, you know, I don't know.
I genuinely, like, I can look back at the Poch games last season where he's mainly on the right-hand side in the dangerous area. That is where I want Maresca, put him in that position. Like, I'm agree with you that maybe the system also partly the issue, but I'm gonna have to take an accountability as well. Like, you know what? As a young player, it's okay for you to get to have these rough patches because you've been through a lot. He's been carrying us for the most.
True, mate.
18 months. He's been
carrying
the team.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I said I'm mentally checked out. Like he wasn't that good. I feel like mentally.
I don't think he's mentally checked out. I mean,
I don't know, man. It's
said that yesterday.
Even when I said yesterday as well. Like when you saw the video when Palmer just running down the.
Why are you holding your phone?
Mate,
you're not on a phone call.
No, mate, that's what they all do, mate. Everyone that's famous pretends to be on the
phone. Yesterday he went to a petrol station and collected one of his purchases from the Middle East guy. Have you seen that TikTok, by the way? Go to Absolute Charles.
Yeah, no, he was, mate. He basically, like, all these footballers and, like, celebrities, they got, like, personal shoppers. So if they want, like a rare trainer or, like, a rare piece of clothing or whatever sourced, they've got, like, plugs that they'll get in touch with and they sort that shit out for them. So basically, like, this guy flew in from the Middle East, landed at Heathrow yesterday morning, and then he met Palmer in a petrol station.
Wandsworth.
After the game at some BP petrol station.
Yeah, Wandsworth.
Gave him the trainers, and Palmer gave him his match shirt from the game.
Wandsworth area yesterday next to the McDonald's, by the way.
Yeah, some BP petrol station.
Why do you know that?
It's on the TikTok.
Because
it's on
TikTok. But
mate, you could watch it. Like literally, just type Cole Palmer in TikTok, man. It'll come up.
It'll come up, and then because I recognize one of the buildings. Like I always go through that area Wandsworth from the line back, innit? So
on the line bike.
yeah,
I'm with you.
Yeah, so that's why he was on the run. That's why he was running yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Fair play to him.
But I think it's a pair of Prada trainers. I wouldn't wear them, but yeah.
Each their own. Look, we've got to talk about Madueke as well. I can't remember the last game that I saw him start on the left and play a full match. It wasn't a full match, was it? He got taken off.
He hasn't played on the left often.
I loved it.
I was surprised when we lined up and I saw him on the left. I was a little bit surprised by that, but he was actually really effective. I know he didn't score, but he was direct. He was dangerous. He took Patterson on a lot, gave him a difficult time. And he forced a couple of good saves from Pickford. This was a good performance from Noni.
I mean, the nice thing about having him on the left is he's not afraid to shoot with his right foot either. And both of the shots where he forced decent saves from Pickford were when he cutting on his right foot. Would you see Sancho cutting on his left if he was on the right side? Would you see Neto cutting on his right foot? You don't really see that ever happen. So I think if that's something that Maresca wants to pursue again, like I have no problem with that. I also think when we recycle the ball and pass backwards like we do so many times, because Madueke is able to do it with his strong foot, it's a little bit faster, a little bit more potency when he passes it, and he whipped a few crosses in as well. So I think that's a position that I would absolutely be open to seeing again. But it's nice to know that you've got versatile wingers who are capable of playing on both sides. But I don't want to sit here and say Madueke on the left every time because...
But it's a nice option to have to mix it up.
No, mix it up a little bit. But in some ways that you need to have that box presence, though. That's why I feel like that we've been missing kind of like Osherman, Gyökeres, or people want to say Liam Delap. Look, I don't really kind of like agree that Liam Delap is a box presence.
He's definitely a box presence.
Do you reckon?
100%. You know, I saw this thing the other day. I don't know if you were on this live or not, Father, but it was an ex-footballer who used to play for United. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
There's quite a few of them.
He basically compared Delap's playing style to Diego Costa, and like people were outraged. They were like
physicality, a bit of a shit.
Yeah. And people were like, "How dare you compare Liam Delap to the greatest striker we've had in modern times?" I was like, that's a fair comparison. This is a guy who's sort of on that edge in terms of, causing problems, but not too many problems, so you get sent off. Keeps his discipline, which actually probably wouldn't compare to Diego Costa in that sense. Don't think he's had a red card this season. He's definitely a box presence. Oh my God.
He's a box presence. Like he makes he would make a difference to us for sure. But yeah, look, you need someone else in addition to him. I think it's not like the problem is that there's only really two strikers available.
What's our budget? Do you reckon this summer?
This summer,
I don't know. I'm not sure because there's a lot of players that we can. There's at least 7 or 8 players we can sell minimum. So that you get what 200 mil from the players we're looking to sell, maybe a bit more.
Get the calculator out.
Nine roughly this season. You got Chukwuemeka's on loan. You got Aguchukwu's on loan. You got Sterling's.
Yeah,
on
there's
loan.
a lot of players you can sell. So let's say you generate maybe. Let's be slightly conservative. You generate 150 to 200 mil from sales.
We'll say 200. Yeah.
Question: like, how much money are you talking about if we win the Conference League?
Oh, it's not much.
18 million.
18 million.
But there's all that Club World Cup money as well.
Club World Cup money as well. Like
you get like $30 million just for taking part, and then if you win it, it's like 129, isn't it?
What is it for quarters? It's 50. If you get to the quarters, which I think is pretty good.
50. Yeah.
I'm banking on us getting quarters. I'm quite happy with that.
Was it group stage, last 16, then quarters?
I can't lie. I would fancy us go all the way. Honestly, I looked at Real.
Really?
I looked at that Real Madrid.
Well, you think we'll beat around? Well, we could beat Real Madrid,
but
maybe,
what
but
about
like
Bayern Munich and
PSG and Barcelona, in it.
Why are you?
No,
why are we scared? Why are we scared of them? That's teams though.
It's not that we're scared. It's that we're rubbish.
Because they're better than us, let's be honest.
I mean, we're sitting here saying, can we get Champions League football?
Yeah.
And we're up against teams who win the Champions League.
I'm just basing this on the Chelsea positivity merchant on it.
What are you talking about?
I'm looking forward to the Club World Cup.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
I think it could be a good tournament.
I think like if we could get 250 mil by that summer, then we could sign at least about 5 players.
Be loving life. Well, I'll tell you what, 100 million, they're centre backs straight away. Hoyson, Mark Gurhey.
Well, Hoyson's 50 mil, and I think
Gurhey, you could get probably 45 to 40 because we've got a sell on.
Yeah, and he's last year his contract as
so,
well. So
90 million.
Call it 100. We'll just call it 100 mil for those two.
You've got 150 million left to spend.
Striker,
Osman, 80 million.
Osman's got 65 million pound release.
Gyökeres, give me Gyökeres or Osman.
Gyökeres is about the
similar money.
Well, Gyökeres is saying no to Chelsea, so that's not going to happen.
What would happen?
Does he?
Well, he prefers
he
Arsenal.
Wants to go
Liverpool,
to Champions League team, doesn't he? So
let's say if we hypothetically make that Champions League.
Come on, let's not get too hypothetical.
Realistically, like, can we go? If let's say if we make Champions League, can we?
We can get him if we get Champions League.
It increases our chances.
But I think there's still a huge.
Osman's
I'm honestly thinking that Gyökeres is Liverpool or Arsenal. Both of them make sense. They both need a striker. Arsenal are more desperate than Liverpool, to be fair.
Sesko's a possibility. Cool.
I mean, he's a good box presence. He scores a lot of headers.
Put Delap in 30 mil. That's 130 million.
I mean, what about Jonathan David as well? Nobody likes talking about this guy.
He's a free.
That's a good shot
Jonathan
as
Tah as well.
He's a free.
That's a free.
I mean, there are a couple like free agency. There's a couple of decent players knocking about that could be very good signings for someone. Like if you spent £30 million on Delap and bought in David on a free, 2 strikers, all right, it's perhaps not what people want. But if you can't get an Osimhen or a Gyökeres, then getting Delap and David, given the striker market, is not bad. I'm not about spending €100 million on Ekitike or Benjamin Sesko. I like parts of Sesko. I'm just still a little bit unsure about him. But Delap and David as 2 strikers that cost you 30 million quid together is not bad.
I had this argument with Scott, and he was like, "Okay, so you have Jackson,
David and Delap.
Who's the number one?" And I was like, "It's a good argument." I think initially
there isn't really a standout.
I think initially Jonathan David's actually the star. He's statistically the best.
Yeah.
Out of the 3, scores the most. Blah blah blah. But what is wrong with having multiple options?
You need 3 options. You
What
need
is wrong
3.
with that?
Because look what we've had before. We've had Crespo, Drogba, Kesman. We've had like Crespo, Drogba, Johnson.
We weren't playing as many games then.
Drogba, Anelka, Rennie. We've had Barr and stuff. Like you need 3 strikers. If one striker gets injured, right, and you only have 2, let's say we have Jackson and Delap next season. One of them gets injured. We've just got 1 and no alternative.
I think realistically we should have like 4 strikers in a season. Just purely.
Well, at least 3. At least 3.
Going out on loan.
I think he'll go on loan. But 3 is preferable.
Because my worry thing is about that. Do we sign the right profile of the players? That is he that injury prone players?
Also, that depends on the manager, because I think let's just go back a little bit. I think Poch, for example, is a manager who'd probably be happy to play 2 strikers up front. I don't see that with Maresca. I think
very few teams play 2 up front.
Yeah,
anyway.
I think he's going to stick to 1. And if you look at the rotation in that number 10 spot, for example, very limited minutes if you're not a starter. So from like the standpoint of keeping your players happy if they're not necessarily playing as much, this is not a great manager for that. But then again, once they're in the door, isn't it? They're in the door. And we like to sign these guys up for long contracts. I mean, Delap and Jonathan David, just as examples, they get a significant pay rise. They're both on 40 grand a week.
David there'd be probably a hefty signing on bonus because he's a free transfer.
Understandable.
Maybe you could look at maybe 5. I mean, I'm purely guessing here, but maybe 5 to 10 million euros. It might be signing on fee.
I mean, that's probably worth paying.
Do we also need a backup number 10 though?
Well, I mean,
no, we've got enough. We've got Chukwuemeka.
Chukwuemeka will go.
It's
gone.
Not necessarily.
I think Esteval could be used as a backup 10.
Yeah.
Kendrick Pires as well.
Kendrick Pires is going on loan to Strasbourg.
Probably go on loan. Well, not confirmed, but I think Pires will go on loan next season.
Chukwuemeka will be sold on profit.
I think Chukwuemeka either sold or another loan. I don't see him having a place in the squad next season.
I mean, let's just look at it from a footballing standpoint, because I do agree with you, by the way, that there's a good chance he will be sold. But in my personal preference, you've got Palmer, who's most likely going to remain in the 10. Chukwuemeka's better than KDH.
Mm-hmm.
He's better than João Felix. Who else have we got that can play in that position? Better than Nkunku at this moment in time in this system.
Well, look, all three of those are going to be gone.
I
KDH,
forgot
Felix,
KDH.
So I think there's a genuine space for Chukwuemeka there. If you're telling me all three of those 10s are going, and then we've just got Esteval, then you've got Palmer, Esteval, and Chukwuemeka.
The thing is, Palmer's going to play pretty much every game anyway.
But I'm still saying as a rotation option.
I would us to prefer like get another 10 in the market right now.
Well, I think we're not looking at a number 10. I think the closest thing we'll get to a number 10 is Jamie Gittins. If we go, the closest thing we'll get is a winger. I think it's probably going to. I think it's probably going to.
I don't know why we're.
It's probably going to end up being Gittins. You know, Chelsea are in talks with Dortmund over the move. I just think TalkSport said in this article yesterday that Chelsea are in talks, which I think we know anyway. But Dortmund are asking for about 35 million.
Is that it?
Yeah,
I thought they were asking for 50.
Well, 50 million euros, but that's not 35 million pounds. But the TalkSport article that I read said they're asking for 35 million because if they miss out on Champions League, they're going to need to sell. But even at 35 million pounds, just thinking Gittins is all right. Is promised there's potential there, but sort of thinking, is he significantly better than Tyreek George? I'm not sure.
How many
is.
players that we've linked this month, by the way? Just out of curiosity, how many players that we've been linked?
Quite a few. We've also been linked with Frank Ngisa from
well, that
Napoli.
was a random. Yeah, that was a
but
random one.
Do you know why that is? It's because his contract's running out as well.
Well, he's out of contract in 27.
But he can. No, they haven't extended yet.
No, he's out of contract in 2027. That's when his contract runs out.
No. So it's this summer, but they have the option
option
to extend it, so that they haven't extended it yet. That's why we're speaking with the player at the moment. So I think once that contract gets extended, that's when we probably pull out of the deal. That was according to Gazzetta.
Oh, what's on Gazzetta dello Sport?
Gazzetta dello Sport. Some Italian.
That Felix loan that could be pointless then. I think he's gone as well.
I think he'll go on loan to Benfica.
I think
because they're not going to pay 40 million.
I think he'll come back there permanently.
How much would they pay?
6 to 10 roughly.
And we would accept that?
Profit.
For who?
No.
For who?
For João Felix.
What, 10 million?
That's what I'm saying.
Nah, Felix is going on loan. Again.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, of course, they're not going to.
Bro, we're not going to get the money for him. Well, they would sell a player on a loss, but we're not going to get anywhere near the 45 million paid for Felix this summer. He's been awful at Milan. It will be another loan, but I suspect there'll be like an option to buy in it. I reckon we'll do a loan this summer with an option to buy of like 30 or 35 million. That's what I reckon.
And then we'd probably accept that. That makes perfect sense. We've got a couple of minutes left. Should we give a little bit of a shout out to Robert Sanchez for the performance yesterday?
Absolutely not.
What?
Well done. Literally, just well done.
So you have given him a shout out then for his performance.
Yeah, just well done. Good clean sheet, but can you do it against Liverpool? That's it.
Well, just give him his credit. For
I give him his credit earlier.
One
game.
No,
he did do well yesterday. We did mention him earlier. He did well yesterday.
He did his job.
He did do his job, yeah. But he made some good saves. But yeah, it doesn't change the general consensus surrounding him that he's not good enough.
Should we bless Strasbourg next season with the presence of Chelsea's #1 goalkeeper?
No, that's all complete waste. We'll send Penders to Strasbourg.
Yeah, send Penders to Strasbourg.
Can you imagine that? You've seen the protests. They're still protesting at Strasbourg. They're finishing in a European spot.
Strasbourg are like 3 or 4 points off second place in the league.
Did they beat St Etienne or did they draw?
I
think it was 1-1.
There was 1-1.
They fucked it.
1-1.
Let's have a quick look.
Mate, if I was a Strasbourg fan and I saw Robert Sanchez was coming the other way and Chelsea were taking Santos and
Petrovic.
They won 3-1.
Oh, they beat them.
Strasbourg won 3-1.
That's great.
They are... Oh, mate, it's all pretty close. They're 3 points.
Yeah.
No, they're 1 point off second.
1 point off second?
Yeah, so Monaco have got 55 points. Marseille 55 points, and then Lyon, Nice and Strasbourg all on 54, with Lille on 53.
Fair enough. Well, pray for Strasbourg.
Pray for Strasbourg, honestly.
Yeah, there's like 3 games left. Like, thing is though, we obviously Strasbourg being in Europe is going to be a big plus for us. But obviously,
Not if we don't.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, if we both end up in the same European competition, which is quite possible, there's no loans from Chelsea to Strasbourg under UEFA rules.
I honestly think best case scenario, Strasbourg finish in the Champions League, we finish in the Europa League. I mean, this is what I predict.
I think we're both going to be playing Europa League.
That'd be a disaster in terms of loans.
I don't think it's possible that 2 clubs play in the Europa League, is it?
They can. Remember Man United and Nice did?
Oh,
Yeah. You just can't do any business. That's why when Man United wanted Todibo they wanted to sign Todibo, but then they were both in the Europa League and they couldn't do it. So yeah, if we both end up in Europa League, there's no business between Chelsea and Strasbourg.
We can still take Petrovic and Santos back.
Yeah, you can take them back. That's pre-existing, and Mamadou Sarr can still come because it's a pre-existing agreement. But anything new, there'll be no 3 loans to Strasbourg next season. We're both in the same European competition.
I'm with you. Well, listen, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. There's a few things we probably could have spoken about as well. There's a good pod though. Enjoyed that.
Gone quick.
Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Smash the like button. Let us know whether you disagree or agree with anything that we've said on the podcast. And Charlie's channel will be in the description as well. Big up to everyone watching, and we will catch you up very, very soon.
Stockholm, Sweden next.
Oh, we could have touched on Djurgårdens
on
Thursday. Yeah, we didn't do that.
Didn't talk about that at all.
Oh, mate, plastic pitch.